Hey, Scott Derenger, coming to you from my dining room slash office. It's a Friday in Lent, and judging by my outfit, there's a good chance that the University of North Carolina men's basketball team is playing tonight in the Sweet 16 against number 13 seeded Xavier. Not Xavier, Xavier out of Cincinnati, Ohio. North Carolina being from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Um, And I thought, why not do a video blog talking about all the. I have a Wisconsin Grammas shirt on underneath, clashing with my Carolina blue, kind of making me look like a member of the 1980 Philadelphia Phillies championship team with one Michael Jack Schmidt playing third base. I think they won in the 1980. The story behind Wisconsin Grandma, back in my stand-up comedy days, there were times where I would meet a young woman, maybe an older woman. This particular woman looked a little bit like Blanche from the Golden Girls. She was probably in her early, I didn't really find out how, she was probably in her early 40s. Met her at a show during a Christmas party. She didn't even see my show. She was just mingling in the hotel bar where the show was. She was at a Christmas party across the hall. So we proceeded to have a few cocktails, and one thing led to another. And I go back to her room, and I was like, "Oh, wow!" I sat in a chair. She had a nicer room than I did. She had a nice leather chair, and I assumed what was going to happen, but I wasn't certain of it. And she goes in the bathroom and comes out naked. So I was like, whoa, we're not going to play cards. I mean, poker. I guess, yeah, we play poker. And older women just don't mess around at all. So that's that. So in the morning, I walked out with her like to her car. I don't know. I don't remember why I did that, but I walked out to her car. I'm like, oh my God, you have a baby. There's a car seat in the back. And she's like, and so I said, I'm like, how old's your son or daughter? She's like, no, it's not my son or daughter. It's my grandson. And I was like, oh, I got my first gilf, my first grandmother. So then I did a show at the University of Wisconsin, the comedy club there, and I bought a Wisconsin grandma T-shirt because it's like it's a real souvenir. Now, some people want to know what my affinity is with North Carolina, where that began. I was like 12 and I bought a hat from a store called, was it Fanfare? It was something in the Louis Joliet Mall. I bought one North Carolina baseball cap. I still have it somewhere. It's like in a box or one of my, it's not one of these hats. I've got quite a few of them. This jersey is probably like 20 years old. These shorts I wear for softball, the stitching's coming out. The crotch has fallen out like 3 times. The lining, right, all it's old. They're old shorts. If I were to ever lose them, all hell would break loose. You could take all kinds of my stuff. Just don't take my North Carolina shorts, the jersey even. This coat was given to me by one Pete Bertino, our student body president at Joliet Catholic Academy, class of '93, and he got it from Dave and Buster's, or no, the other brothers that were Ben and Jerry's, Tom and Jerry's, somebody and Jerry's, Dave and, hold on a minute, what the? Dave and Barry's. Dave and Barry's? Dave Barry? Dave and Bob? Dave and Stephen Barry's. I don't know. So, but I also, I got a University of North Carolina tattoo. Some people think it's the Notre Dame guy. They're like, you went to Notre Dame. And I'm like, no. And these same people look at my legs. I'm trying to get really close. Like, I have that's my birthmark, by the way, like right there. I have no hair in my legs, like right here. I shaved them when I was a kid. When I was 22, when I was working out, I shaved them. Like, when I was all buff. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I shaved them for this picture. People were like, oh my God, you were on steroids. And I couldn't afford steroids. I just worked out all the time. And I shaved them for that picture. And it just never grew back. And I took the SAT score to go to North Carolina. It's an East Coast ACC school. Yeah, I didn't get in. I didn't even try because I got my ACT or SAT scores back. ACT, I got like a 22. That's not going to get in either. And I got my SAT scores back, and I'm like, there should be like another number, I think, because I weigh more than this. So I got the tattoo, and like a couple. So if you look, I mean, the horns are supposed to be yellow, and they're like all faded now. So a couple years later, like 2 years later, I think they redid they redid it to make it look, they're gray. So it's basically like the same thing, but it's just the horns are like, I have vintage. That's a vintage tattoo. Like look at their yellow on here, but on here they're gray, and on my arm, well, I guess they're kind of gray now because it's faded. Carolina is going to win the national championship again. I only visited like once, and it wasn't even like a real visit. It was like with my friend Monica. Her grandparents lived in Wilmington, which is like 3 hours away. We drove there. Like I got walked on the basketball court, took some pictures, walked by the football field, took some pictures. Lawrence Taylor played there. Julius Peppers played there. A bunch of other people played there that I'm sure were really good, and I love them. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm not gonna cry tonight if they lose. Yeah, I got all this stuff, but it's made for a real easy gift for people. Let's get Scott something. Get him North Carolina. Anything. I've got a North Carolina bottle opener. It's supposed to play the theme song, or the school fight song, and I don't know it. I don't know one word of it. So it could have played a big, I didn't even know it was broken until now. Maybe new batteries? Nothing. Alpine Spring from Sam Adams. Alpine Spring, it's like drinking a douche. A douche? Drinking a douche. Perfect. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter season. Don't eat any meat. I mean, except for you ladies. You can. Always, whenever you want. And whatever men out there want to do it. I'm not going to judge.